Alright guys, welcome back for another episode of the Crappie Connection. We got a special episode here. We got the Caps and Coleman team. I'm Justin Berry.
Brad Chappell here.
And hey, we got the powerful and great team of the Pioneer Crappie Fishing. Guys, welcome.
Alright, thank y'all for having us, man.
Yeah, thank you. We're so excited to have you two guys here. I think no other team in the history of crappie fishing that we would be so proud to be on today. We're really looking to get some good tips for our listeners and also ourselves even. So we want to really be able to compete with you guys in the future and hopefully do some of the things that you've done for this sport. It's just been phenomenal.
Yeah. So I mean, the main question is, how have y'all done it? Tell us your secret. Tell us what's giving you all the edge with it all through these years.
Shh, don't tell us secrets now.
Yeah, I have to just go right on back down to when we were just childhood kids and running around the lake bank and fishing on the Mississippi River. And it's all got to do with the water time that we spent, you know, in fishing and hunting. And honestly, all the water time is our library for basically relating to another lake and doing the things that we do. It just basically comes secondhand, and it's very hard to sit here and tell you things that really we take for granted unless you ask us. So hopefully you'll have some of them good questions.
Yeah, we're going to try to get some of the details out of you guys, because I know you've got some that everybody does as far as crappie fishing, and one of the things that we've been really digging into is details on patterns and different things like that. Kind of start off with you, Steve. What kind of got you really hooked on to crappie fishing? When did you really begin crappie fishing?
Well, you know, back when we grew up, we didn't have video games and cell phones and things you could play every day, and so we had to, our playtime was in the backyard. Ronnie and I both, we lived on the lake. At an early age, we really didn't know each other, and we became friends there, and instead of fighting on the lake, we just kind of joined forces, and that's what we knew. We grew up doing that, and we had no choice, just to fish that lake. Because that was our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Would it be like, I guess, single poling or fishing with a bobber, or?
Back then, they called it spider rigging. We still fish multi-poles. We probably didn't fish 8 or so, 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it was old cane poles and old cotton line we'd wrap around there with the old big hooks. You see how much it's changed, since then.
Yeah.
The lake he's talking about, right? It's Reelfoot. We both grew up right there at Reelfoot Lake. So, yeah, I remember some of them old hand-tied sugar-head jigs, and, and some of that equipment was some of the first artificials we ever laid our eyes on. So, that old black and white.
Black and chartreuse.
Pink head with a little sugar head, they call it. But anyway, Menace was always at the top of the list, and it always will be. And but yeah, Reelfoot, we started trot lining and every kind of fishing you ever imagine, but crappie was definitely at the top of the list. So yeah.
I got one question that kind of starts out with starting crappie fishing. If you could give one piece of advice of somebody that says, you know what, I'm going to start crappie fishing, what can they really learn to make them a good crappie fishing quicker?
If you had to give that one piece of advice,
would it be electronics or poles or reading the lake, or
go with a prime time of the year to get started? Go when they're going to bite. I'd go for that on a crank up kind of deal, and then get in the spring and kind of follow the lead of some people in the springtime. The lakes are full of fish, full of people catching fish, and just
pay attention.
Basically pay attention a little bit, get in the areas anyway. But I'd probably start out with a single pole and learn how to enjoy that before I started trolling and that kind of thing. Just hit it at a prime time when the more males are knocking the fire out of it and have some fun with it. That's what I'd recommend. And I guarantee you, after they quit knocking the fire out of it, you'll be trying to figure out how to catch them another way. And the next thing that'll come will be fishing with a minnow rig or out with a set of poles, and getting some open water and do that. Don't try to travel across the thickest structure in the whole lake and do that. But man, it's a progressive kind of thing that you'll get better every time you go. And golly, just get out there and try it.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, just snatch up somebody that's like Ronnie and I. we've got people that we've taught to fish, and we've set them up on the right, the right equipment, the big end poles and the right hooks, the right sinkers. I mean, just whatever it is, to set them up with the right equipment and teach them how to catch these fish. If they want to take a guide trip with a pro somewhere or a guide, just set them up and pay attention to what they do and what equipment they use. And some of these old timers that's 70, 80 years old, their heads are full of knowledge,
Right.
So don't be shy, to go
To
that route,
ask for information.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the all right, obviously y'all fishing in front of a lot of people during tournaments, left and right, all the time, 24/7. Tell us individually what's the most thing that you see the most people doing wrong while they're fishing? Is there something that just drives you to say, gosh, there it is again, I see a guy doing this same thing wrong again?
Go for it.
Hey, I see a lot of different things that I think might be wrong, but honestly, they end up doing better than me sometimes. So you really have to spend some time there and let the fish kind of tell you what they want, and in that regard. And I do see them going too fast more often than not. I'll say that.
So going too fast.
Going too fast, especially this time of year when you get this water temperature like it is. At home at Reelfoot, man, you're at a creep, basically, almost a no-show GPS movement.
Like a point one?
Like a point set still kind of thing.
Right.
Right. It's basically set still by some structure will catch you more fish in late fall and during the winter months at Reelfoot than moving on at point one.
Right.
I'll pull up to a piece of structure, set dead still, let my minnows do the work. There's fish there, trust me. I mean, you can see them, so let them just sit there. And, then I'll move right on to the next piece right after that. I may catch fish in between, but honestly, moving too fast in cold water is.
What's the fastest you moved catching them? Spot rigging.
About 1.4, 1.5.
Yeah.
We've been rolling, almost when you think it's too fast. Sometimes you still catch a fish, but that's typically when water temperatures are on up in temperature, warmer in the fall, and especially hot summer in the fall. Fall is when we really do better moving faster. But to tell you the truth, there's lakes that you can do very well on going fast, and there's lakes that you cannot. And Reelfoot is one that you cannot. Don't take your technique from Grenada Lake down to Reelfoot and expect to do good. It's not going to happen.
I know one of the things I've kind of noticed through the years of fishing different lakes is I almost feel like different lakes have different personalities when it comes to crappie fishing. Just like you kind of mentioned Reelfoot, you can't move a hole real fast or you'll spook the fish out. But I think different lakes have different personalities almost.
They actually do. Every lake is different, You may have some lakes that's similar in depth, in the bottom, but like you said, every lake has its personality, and most of the time we approach that lake like we have caught fish in the past, because it's all in our head. We just like Ronnie said earlier, we can see what's in that lake, because we know what we're looking for. But each one of them, you got to treat them different.
Y'all hear all that racking in the background? That's Charlie Bunton trying to get a pole behind us here at the jig show.
Completely out of being in pole almost.
That's a great deal.
That's good. Tell me what's the biggest excitement both of y'all get out of it? Like, is there something? Is it that moment where you don't know how big it is? It's coming out. Tell me what's giving you the drive to crappie fishing?
To me, it's knowing you've caught that fish.
That's right.
That's your homework.
Yeah.
You sit there, whatever we try to do, every high we catch that fish, it's a challenge to catch you. We want to make that fish bite. We want to sit there and see how long it takes us to catch that fish. Ross Barnett, we fished a certain spot, caught a 3-pound crappie. That's the excitement right there. It's like going in Pandora's box. You never know what's in there.
Yeah, speaking of Ross Barnett, I mean, you hear a lot of stories of you guys. I mean, y'all are legends. I mean, is it true that on that tournament, Ross Barnett out there, that y'all use wax worms?
No question.
Don't tell that secret.
I heard that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We exclusively use wax worms there on that deal. It's a deal that we've never even blinked about doing. We do it every year. We do it everywhere we go. There's no doubt that they're gonna be attracted to a wax worm better than they are a minnow during the spawn for us. I mean, I don't know how to tell you. Just go get you some.
Right.
But if you're gonna fish with artificials, make sure you tip them with a wax worm. Try that during the spawn. At the point where a male fish starts to get a little bit of color to him, you throw him in the live well and he sits for 5 or 10 minutes, and he might not show up when you pull him out, but he starts to show up in your live well when he's getting light and hitting him. When they're doing that and the hormone flow is going on, that is the marking point when you can start catching fish on a backstream tip. And not to say you can't catch them in a minute, but I'm telling you, a male fish can't leave them alone. Don't know if he wants to kill it or eat it. I think it's some of both. But, but honestly, it's a very effective tip. But you know, just try them.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that for sure. Tell us, obviously you're known for trolling. Is there any other technique that y'all like to, it holds something to your heart of catching them?
You know, trolling, I don't know that that's what we're doing. That's not a good troll. It's just not. I mean, we are direct structure fishermen with multi-poles.
That's it.
How's that? I mean, I'm not just rolling and trolling. I got a purpose.
Right.
I'm going to fish either a depth change, a depression, or a piece of structure every second. If I'm not, I'm headed to one, and I might catch a fish there in between. But I'm telling you, I'm going to a place that's likely to get me a bite. And yeah, I may be trolling in between. How's that? But would you call riding your motor trolling? I just leave my pose down. How about that? But I'm zipping to the next spot. I'm not wasting any time typically. Not to say we don't troll. Yeah, out covering open water, you know, in big open water and flats, whatever, at random, yes sir. Very effective technique. I'm sure all the Mississippi lakes are on fire right now. They should be. Sardis is one of the best crappie lakes in the country for size and numbers. It's always been crazy producer. But if you had never tried multi-pole fishing, it's a great starting spot.
Absolutely.
To answer my question, is there any other kind of technique you like other than
single poling or shooting dogs or
anything? I'm telling you under the sun, if whatever can get us the maximum stringer in the boat, I'm gonna be doing it. All right. Me and Stevie won a single pole. It wasn't a single pole, it was multi-pole. We was at Monroe Lake, Indiana, I believe it was, and we fished in a blackberry thicket with one pole between both of us. Steve was sitting behind me in the boat with a landing net in his hand. I fished with one pole all day long, and we set a record on that lake with male fish.
Wow.
I don't know that it's ever been broken. We was fishing some guy's cow pasture with one pole, not two.
Right.
Those fish,
one pole between us.
Those fish would bite so fast, you didn't have time to fish 2 poles.
I had him on 6 inches of line, and he had to get the net on him. And that was a premier. We hit it perfect with the rising water, and the males were going up a little old ditch, and it was just unbelievable.
You're sitting on a fence row.
Yeah.
You know, blackberry bushes or whatever there was, and you're looking at the cow pasture. You know.
That's crazy.
I got a real unique question for you that I hadn't asked yet on Crappie Connection. Superstitions. Do you guys have any kind of superstitions when it comes from banana in the boat or
lightning?
Lightning.
Well, I want to hear that one.
Come on, we got a story behind it.
Neely Henry. Right.
Yeah, we definitely got lit up this past year. It's the first time in a fishing situation where we've a little bit hard-headed and stayed there a little too long. You know, it popped our area. I say that, and you know, my teeth. I had a mouthful of metal and a mouthful of blood, and my heart raced for about 2 or 3 hours.
Oh my God!
Let me paint this picture for you.
All right.
It's pouring down rain. We're sitting right out in the middle of the lake. Camera crew was with us. Well, the camera crew said, "Well, we got to go." We continue fishing. Electronics goes haywire. He asked me to go to the back, change the battery. So I go to the back, I unhook to the back, and a positive, negative each hand. I'm looking at him. All of a sudden, the world blows up. You know, fire going from these wires and everywhere. I look up at him. He don't say anything. He's just like, I said, well,
it stunned us.
He's still sitting in the chair. You know, busting my lips. Tooth was bleeding on him. So it's just
wow.
He's lucky.
That's unbelievable.
I think he caused it.
About holding the wire.
Yeah. I wish I had y'all that on video.
This is for real. Our 360 was running in reverse.
It was.
I swear, it was running in reverse.
But no other kind of superstitions or wise?
I was going for a stump that I knew where it was at, and it showed me going away from it.
Wow.
Ronnie getting excited. He's knocking down mics and everything.
Lightning will get you excited.
Yeah. Let me get it for you. Right up there on top. Should be. There we go.
Back in place.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, good.
That's good right there.
Don't run him.
Man, got me all excited here. Is it? Here's another something I heard from you about y'all. Is it true y'all measure y'all's minnows?
No. We'll grade them.
No.
You grade them?
We will grade them. It'll save you a whole lot of time at the end of the day.
So tell me a little bit about grading them.
Yeah, you know,
what's your process?
We've got a sheet. We basically have a grate that fit in a special cooler, and you can dump all the minnows in one end of the cooler, and the grate's 18. What it'll do is allow the small minnows to swim through the grate. You'll have the big ones here, and you won't have to deal with handling those little ones. As many of them, I say, during the day. I mean, at the end of the day, you'd be surprised how many seconds or minutes add up. You know, every time you bait, and you'd be at 15, 20, 30 minutes at the end of the day is a whole lot, you know.
Yeah.
Hook out of water.
Right, so we kind of talk about the details in every episode, like I said, but that's one of the details that you guys actually pay attention to is what size minnows at.
Some of those small details, you know, it matters a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with the next question here. The hottest topic right now on social media, and I want to know if you have any experience with it or what your thoughts is on it, is the Garmin.
Honestly, we're both just now dipping into that, and I know it's something that we need to be doing more of. Probably need a little more teaching, but we both have dropped a few things on, and when this crappie season cranks out, you'll see a lot more hit. We're getting a little more familiar with doing stuff, but yeah, I know that is a huge deal, and I never knew we had so many fans. I say that.
All right.
True.
I've seen the Garmin work, and I've seen the video of it. I seen one yesterday, and it's really impressive.
It really is. I think so too.
Yeah.
What a body of water that you've always wanted to go crappie fishing that you haven't been to yet? Do you have one in mind that's kind of like a bucket list kind of deal? I know you've been, no telling how many states and everything else, but is there one that kind of sticks out in your mind right now?
We have fished all of them. I can think of them. Ronnie, unless you know one.
Honestly, we have our most fun going to one we've never been to, so we're getting ready to do that at Caruthersville.
Oh yeah.
Never been to Caruthersville.
No, we never have. And I already know a little bit about the situation there, but it'll be comparable, I'm sure, in some ways to a lot of places we've already been. But honestly, it's a lake that we've never been to, and that really gets me excited sometimes to be able to apply what I know to a new lake, and sometimes being fresh. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody to tell me anything. I just want to go down there and go fishing, and we've done that. Actually, the last time I remember fishing in Beaver Lake, Arkansas, I've never been there either, and we rolled up over there and won that thing, hands down, and never been there in our life. But I looked for one thing when I went to that lake.
What was that?
Watercolor.
Watercolor.
I found some good fertile water, and watercolor was really the trigger that put me in some winning fish. And I just done some riding, man. It was cold. It was early part of the year, but I found some green water in the area, and man, I stayed with it, and honestly come out on top. So
you say green water?
Green water.
Yeah, basically.
Green water.
You know, most of the lake, Beaver Lake, deep, clear, blue. I'm talking about clear, deep.
So I'm already getting this excitement from you. Like that's pretty much. You go to a new lake, you're excited.
I am. I went to Dardanelle, Arkansas, done the same thing. It's just a fun deal to apply what you know to a new place. Sometimes you don't have enough time, but honestly, it's a fun deal just to go down there on Monday morning and start fishing a new spot.
I know we've been talking about some of these lakes out west. I just went to Las Vegas here recently, and the Hoover Dam's blocked off by I can't recall the name of the lake, but they said they had black crappie, and in my mind's thinking, no. But automatically I'm thinking, man, I would love to just go out here and actually try to crappie fish, and especially bring our techniques out there and actually do some good on it. I think it would be so fun to have a traveling deal and go out there and try some of our techniques out west.
All right. Yeah, do you think, let's go ahead and start that subject. Do you think crappie fishing trails could get as big as bass fishing? Do you think a guy can make somewhere down the road, bass fisherman makes a living off of it, right?
Sure.
Do you think we can have trails that if they go out west, you think they can make a living off of it?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Man, it's just a matter of time. It's coming together by leaps and bounds right now, and no doubt that's something that we've always hoped would happen. Me and Steve started off bass fishing, honestly. Didn't know that, but we've placed very well in some 200 or 300 boat bass tournaments at Kentucky Lake when we was very young, and but honestly, there was a crappie tournament that came to Reelfoot, so we didn't have to travel to go to a tournament. And that's really how we got started. Is we had it was called Pan Fishing Rama. If you want to get down to it's been a long time ago, but they had a bass fishing division, they had a crappie division, a bluegill division, whatever. We fished a crappie, and and the rest is history.
Did you win it?
I think so. 60-something
Yeah.
pounds of crappie.
How
You know,
many?
when you win one of those tournaments like that at a young age, you know it's in your
Yep.
blood. You
Yep.
know what you got to do. You know, it's and once it gets in your blood, it never gets out. You
Yep.
know, it's a passion.
I agree. What's the deepest you've ever caught crappie?
Oh Lord,
That was 63 at
First Priest.
Friday,
Yep.
63.
63 foot.
Yep.
Yep.
Fast you get your hook in there, wasn't it?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Had to be winter?
It was probably old Cedars and old River Run.
Mine was
What it
June.
June, 63 foot
Yep.
in June.
in June.
Yeah.
That's
That was
amazing.
in a tournament.
Yep.
You kept them alive.
We'd have won it if we'd have got there a little quicker.
Yep.
Wow.
We about to get run over by a jet ski every second.
Oh, that's where he picked your buoy up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad. That's bad recreation lake, but anyway, we was right in the middle of them. We was right in the party zone, I think. 60 foot.
Yep.
That's unreal.
Have y'all ever? All right, so everybody knows. I mean, you got everything you learned from when you started and between now. Has there been any kind of myths that you learned through the years that this is true, but then you turn around and be like, man, that's not true now. Like if you Google the spawning time, this is
Full moon or
if you Google spawn time temperature right now, I just Googled it the other day. It's showing 50 to 56 degrees in between 6 to 15 foot deep of water.
Right. The scientific part of it, Ronnie, he did a little mileage there. He can tell you more about about that part.
Gosh, man, I'm telling you what. Here we go again with attitude. Every lake's got its own specific. I'll just give you one. There's no way I can give you examples from all over the country. Reelfoot Lake is very sensitive when you talk about the spawn of a black crappie. If it don't happen before the second week in March over there, their spawning grounds basically get covered by vegetation. At second week of March, you better have a caught. You can't even cast a rod. You can't do any more casting after about then because the pads are topped out. But honestly, it's a very unique lake. Got its own different attitude for the spawn. That's just one instance there. Water will warm up very fast. In shallow water, the black bottom that we have, you can see the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear there. We're talking 2.5, 3 foot of water. These fish are there right now as we're speaking. Here it is in January. They'll be there if the lake freezes over. They'll be there when spawning time happens. These fish never leave. And honestly, they have to make a quick work of a spawn at Reelfoot. Simply, timing basically covered it. They got to have sunlight for their eggs to hatch.
Mm-hmm.
This whole area, you can almost walk on it for the vegetation growth. Just after about the third week of March, it's solid. So it's amazing to me that we're talking water temperature. I'm talking visible eye. What's going on with nature? If it's warm
dogwoods
for those plants to grow and cover their, it's done past time, right? Yeah. So I do appreciate the water temperature range, but I think that some fish will take advantage of it on the very end, and I am speaking of the very cool end. I think that happens, and it depends on the lake that you're in, honestly. So yeah.
Another personality deal.
59 degrees was always our set point on calculate. When you get 59 degrees, fish that are basically, they're in a pool, they're basically in a staging area. There'll be a current break or something on the channel, cruising the channel. They'll always come to those places and they'll stage. And at 59 degrees at the nest site, fish will leave those places and they'll go right out on those flats and spawn. So that's a magic number that we pay attention to a lot.
59.
Don't be fishing 25 foot deep when the water temperature is 59 if it's in the spring. How about that?
Yeah. What's the deepest you've seen this spawn? Y'all seen this spawn?
It depends on the clarity. We won a Caesars Creek Ohio Championship in about 28 foot of water in June, and we caught male fish that was colored up black as the ace of spades in 28 foot of water on 2 stumps in one classic.
Wow.
I know accomplishments. I know you guys got endless amount that we could probably fill this table up with, but you have to have one that kind of sticks in your mind that says, I did it. And it probably wasn't that way in the beginning of fishing the tournament or, designing something. What is the one accomplishment in crappie fishermen that you think that really makes you happy at night?
Dear to your heart there.
Well, this last year at Ross Barnett, we won the tournament, and and we've done pretty good. But I've suffered an eye injury, and I've dealt with that for a couple of years now. And going back and win that tournament, you're back in the game. You feel good about yourself. I mean, it's you accomplished something. You overcame it.
Right.
And that's what it's. That's what's for me. Yeah.
You felt like you
Awesome.
were back, right?
It will
I'm back.
wake you up and make you not take these wonderful things for granted.
Yeah.
Brad. Honestly, it won't. It's changed our whole way of having the style of fishing. So it's unbelievable, dude. I mean, it has affected almost everything up front right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically something we've adjusted to, and we rolling with it. But man, don't take for granted your ability to get in that chair and go out there on a day.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's pretty.
Right.
Yeah.
If you got to get somebody to get you to the ramp and get you in the boat, man, don't just go out there and enjoy it while you can.
Tell us something. Of course, you got all these years underneath your belt. I mean, tell us something Tell me something that you've learned. What's the biggest lesson you've learned through your whole crappie career? If something sticks out, tell us what it is.
You know what? We just keep on learning. The excitement factor now that we got all of our crappie fishing friends surrounding us, and hopefully this podcast is going to grab a few more to get in these tournaments. Honestly, we want as much competition as we can get, because when you do win, it kind of means something to you
Right.
at that point. And so any win these days with basically the technology that's at everybody's fingertips, if you can show out with all these things in everybody's hands out here, these weapons, and still pull it off, it ought to be something for anybody to be proud of.
Absolutely.
I've always felt like that through these series of tournaments that we fish, that at the year end, the Angler of the Year should be definitely something that you would want to celebrate. If you could just pull that off and be the top angler. It didn't mean so much in the past, really. There were so many tournaments that you had to just juggle. It's basically who could drive the furthest,
Right.
kind of thing. But
Get off the most.
sure.
Right.
So anyway, I think that will be a huge deal in the future. I also think that's paybacks for all these, like the American Crappie Trail, they're rocking with some money out there, and you can pay for your expenses. If you can win, you get in the top 20, dude, with a 100-boat tournament, you're going to pay for your expenses and have a big time for a week.
Yeah.
So,
I kind of started fishing tournaments years ago, and just to be able to meet different people through these trails that you've become great friends with is invaluable. I mean, no matter how you do necessarily in the tournaments, but the friendships and the connections that you make is unreal.
it is a family affair.
Absolutely.
It kind of feels good when you get out, if you're on a different lake or you're in a seminar or something like that, and somebody comes up to you and talks to you, and you don't know them from Adam, but they know you.
Right.
So, you've put that into their mind, you've given that to them, You made them feel good about fishing, and I just enjoy meeting different folks.
So it never gets old meeting new folks.
It never does,
That idolize y'all, because there's a lot of folks out there that idolize y'all.
Hey, snatch us up and ask us anything you want,
So
Yeah.
how much, when they do ask y'all that, let's be for real here, how much info do y'all give? Y'all give it all? The full 100%?
Give it all.
About 90%?
We give it all. We share everything that we do. We sure do.
Just like the wax worms, there's a lot of guys that if that was that key on Barnett, and I can probably tell you, it would be hard for me to give up that piece of secret out or what have you.
Yeah.
But something like that, man, my hat's off to you both for doing that. I mean,
Well, it wasn't just. It's something now that's basically it's a full show, man, of what we're doing every second. We got GoPros on our boats. We got the camera boat watching. There's no hiding info. We want people to catch more fish. Hey, we enjoy the competition.
Yeah.
Like I just said, to beat somebody these days with all the arsenal that they have, it makes you feel like you really have accomplished something. I
Right.
don't have any secrets. Ask me, I'll tell you.
One thing I remember years ago in Truman Lake National Championship Crappie Masters, I remember you guys pre-fishing. And I would show up at the boat ramp, before daybreak, your truck was gone. We would come back, 5 or 6 o'clock, sun's still up, your truck was still at the ramp. What's a normal day for you guys pre-fishing, especially like a big tournament like that? Is there a time frame, or is it just
Whatever's
till you
legal.
can't keep your eyes open?
Whatever's legal, we're going to use it.
Whatever's legal.
Every second. Yeah.
It's dark to dark is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste 1 minute.
What's the longest y'all stayed awake pre-fishing?
Oh, well, Lord. Probably days.
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 More than 2.
Oh yes.
Straight.
Right.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because you can't sleep at night. You know, you're laying in the bed, you're thinking about what you're going to do. You know,
He's rigging up everything.
it's
something different. I mean, honestly, you're completely fishing your heart out all day, but then when you get home and have a new game plan, dude, you got to be rigging stuff up all night.
Yeah.
By the time you get it all done, it's sometimes time to go again. So really, it's crazy. There's no backing up with our effort right there. I mean, and I would hope that everybody else would be doing the same thing, man. The competition level is going through the roof. American Crappie Tail got on board with the crappie fishing world, and I'm telling you, these guys are going to take it to the top. I just know it. I feel it. We've been wanting it for our whole life, so we can't wait to see what happens.
You know,
next.
if you don't fish crappie tournaments, you know, I challenge you just to fish one. You know, American Crappie Trail. You know, fish one tournament.
You will be hooked.
You will hook.
Yep.
You will be.
And you will learn a lot.
We got Matt Morgan over here looking at us. Matt, we gonna go out west with it?
Good fish out west.
Yeah, you know.
We'll have to get our boat carried by a helicopter or something.
Yeah.
He won't make it.
Right. Another easy thing that I know I always get asked, and I'm sure you guys as well. What is your favorite knot to tie? It's something that basic that everybody needs to learn how to do. Do you have a knot that you prefer over the other or anything like that?
I tie one knot, and I could not tell you what it is.
You know what?
It is the Coleman knot. Then is that right?
I can tie with my eyes closed. You know.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
The Coleman knot.
That's what it is. It's going on.
But I got to use glasses now, so that's
Right.
Honestly, we've been tying that same knot forever. I mean, it works for us. There's very few times. I'll tie a barrel knot once in a while when I'm connecting 2 different size lines, which is very important. Many times, if you know what a barrel knot is, I mean, you can take a 12-pound and have a 6-pound leader, and that knot is just a beautiful little knot. It looks like a barrel. It's beautiful. So,
Why would you do that?
well, it's basically more action. If I want to break off, say I'm slip float fishing, I'll have like 20-pound test down to my float, and past my float, I'll have a 6-pound. I'll use a barrel knot.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll pop that bead instead of having to put a piece of rubber on for holding the bead. The barrel knot will hold the bead. We do a lot of pitching. We've won a championship fishing before with a slip cork and live mint. So I mean, I can do anything it takes. Me and Steve, we can do what it takes. Really, whatever the fish want to bite. I think we're very versatile at doing other things. But honestly, the numbers of fish come in with a multi-pole set these days. I mean, it's just a fact. And I don't knock anybody that loves to fish with one pole, but don't knock us either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good subject there, because there's a lot of controversy on social media saying trolling isn't fishing, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I mean, if you're telling the guys right now that's listening, what would you say to them right now?
Hey, man, if you want to go duck hunting with a shotgun or a bow and arrow, archery, I just like to catch fish. I mean, that's the most efficient way.
Time is valuable.
That I know of. Basically, if you want to catch them on artificial only, hey, great, that's all good. And sometimes they beat the fire out of us. I can't knock that at all. It's just another realm of crappie fishing. You know, I'm all for all of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing what we do.
Yeah. Sometimes we have a dock shooter that we're kind of terrified of, you know.
All right.
To tell you the truth, Brad, with the technology that we have at our fingertips, any more 8 poles is not our standard. It's not most people's standard, honestly. It's about 3 or 4. Simply because we're so efficient at fishing a piece of structure. We don't need these poles that are wasted. They're wasting our time. They're not going to get bit. We're fishing with the 2 or 3 or 5, whatever that we need to cover a piece of structure and get on to the next one. You're wasting time when you got more than enough poles. I say
That is something that right there I would pay attention to if I was listening right here today. He's saying he's trying to target something particular at every given time.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you're structure fishing. I mean, you're right on top of it. I mean, it's your pose is within millimeters of that structure, or your hook is.
Yeah. Sometimes with a 360, I'm following fish that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It might be completely open, no structure, or I'm trying to catch up with them.
Right.
You can actually see these fish a lot of times, and a school. We were just on the Washita River just past year, and we was running a school of fish. And one of those big box bows over there, it was unbelievable. Man, they were all crappie, and every time we could get in them,
Right.
we was getting wore out, and I'm like, this is wonderful. I love this. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, the only thing that could get in our way was a big alligator gar, which we could figure out the difference between an alligator gar and a crappie real quick. It was an amazing tournament down there. I can't wait to go back.
Right now on equipment, we kind of touched with it real quick there. What is your favorite piece of equipment that you've got that you think, well, man, I don't know if I could survive it, right now without that piece of equipment?
It's that B&M pole.
B&M pole.
That's that B&M pole.
Which one?
It don't matter. It's
You only got one.
Oh, Lord.
I only got one.
Gotta make it hard for you.
BGJP.
BGJP.
Yep.
Jig pole.
Jig pole.
What size?
14.
14.
No 16s.
No, nope, absolutely not.
How come?
10% of the time we might use a 16. It's basically because we're more efficient. We basically being able to handle that pole in heavy structure. The 14 is light years away from the 16. 16 will wear you out. You got to be fast, dude. You cannot miss a beat, and 14 seems to be the perfect length, really, for us.
You always hear, everybody that's friends crappie fishing, you always hear that longer the pole, the better, but you're not going down towards that road.
Definitely not. No. There is times that 16 will pay dividends when you can cover some more real estate at the end of the day, no doubt, if you can handle that pole. But getting the bite sometimes is very important, and most people are not too efficient at setting a hook as good on a 16 as they would a 14. They'll lose a lot of fish if they're not real on top of things with that 16, just because it's so much heavier.
So your theory with that 2 extra foot away from your trolling motor don't affect the bite?
There is times I'm sure it does. There is times that has convinced me beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are never going to run fish off from some places and times we've won fish. I went through a place at Reelfoot that just comes to mind, just like yesterday. We could see the bottom all day long. Pads, lily pads, growing. It was almost topped out in every place around us. We creeped through one place dragging 2 chains through the middle of the place we was catching fish all day long, and it wasn't a 50-yard stretch. We made 50 runs through there. The water would get muddy. The water would actually get so stirred up you couldn't see the bottom from us dragging the chains. Wind's blowing 30 miles an hour.
Right.
We're dragging double chains through the same place. We was catching as many when we left as we was when we got there. We was using some 16, but there's no doubt they'll bite 14s. They'd have bit it if I had it by my trolling motor. We wasn't using a trolling motor. We wasn't using a trolling motor.
And this was recent.
Yep. No, not too long ago.
Yeah, a few years back. Yeah.
72 and Black ones at Reelfoot, I think. So
That's it.
That
was it. Yeah.
Do you guys keep logs?
No.
Not a lot.
No.
Just upstairs.
It's all logged right there in the brain.
I love it.
Well, it would have helped us a time or two had we did that.
Right.
I wish we had wrote a few things. And I think we have got a little bit of stuff.
Right. It's scattered everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. It does you good to remember stuff. Honestly, we was taught to be able to remember how to find a place on the water by my grandfather. Me and him both fished commercially with him, and I mean, he was the best in the world as far as we're concerned. I think at finding something by triangulation, and being on a water body, that guy could find a stump in the middle of Reelfoot Lake amongst millions of stumps that was basically a marker stump. I didn't know how he found the marker stump to start with, but from that stump we could fish a perimeter of 500 yards all day long, and he's telling me stories about each stump we're fishing. I mean, it's unreal how good he was.
Yep.
So we both gained something from him on being able to go back to places and fish structure just by triangulation, and that really has been one of the basically assets that we've stored and we still use today. I mean, we don't really, if we lost our GPS and all our electronics, we'd be tough to beat. Still.
That's a good point.
I believe it.
That's a good point right there. So how much do you play with saying, I don't know, how much do you depend on your electronics versus what you know, like being grandfathered in, you would say, or what you know in the back of your head?
Yeah, percentage-wise, I mean, that definitely make you lazy these days doing that. But don't ever forget to get a view on a windowsill and a telephone pole and kind of line things up and know approximately where you're at on a place. You know, if there's any kind of structure on shore where you can line up, we do that all the time. All the time we do it, just out of habit, I think. But man, does it help out sometimes? Yeah. And if I can't remember it, Steve does, and vice versa. So, you know, we're always we're always thinking about location and spots.
Yeah.
It's something that comes to mind.
So let's throw a scenario in there with y'all. If you had your electronics go out on a day before a 2-day tournament, how comfortable would y'all be?
Oh, we're going to get some.
Going to get some?
Yeah,
Going to get some.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there then.
Confidence is key.
Right, because just like he said, if you're fishing the lake and you're pre-fishing, you know what ledge you're fishing, you know what flat you're fishing, and all that information is stored in your mind. It's just, you can see it. We just don't know what's there. It's hard to explain, but you can see what you're fishing. And I can go back to that same spot. I might not be right on top of it, but I'm gonna be pretty close.
And that's the factor. Your efficiency. Basically, the time that you would lose would get you beat these days. Everybody's so efficient, efficient at every angle. Honestly, so.
I probably know your answers already to this, but I would think, what's your favorite way to cook and eat crappie? Steve?
Oh, they gotta be fried, man.
Yep, that's it.
But honestly,
Fried.
you can't mess a piece of crappie up. I don't think.
Do you have a particular recipe?
I use Jiffy cornbread mix 50-50 with just regular yellow cornmeal, and I like them sweet, hot.
Sweet and hot.
Yep.
Sweet and hot.
What about that, Steve?
That's it. Sweet and hot.
Same way.
Same way. Yep.
Tabasco or ketchup or?
Yeah, well, we'll run through a little drag of ketchup. How about that?
All right.
Maybe a slice of light bread.
But when you take him out of that grease and break him open, you don't have to have nothing.
That's right.
I mean, it's good.
That's right.
It's good.
Oh my goodness.
Can you tell the difference between winter crappie and summer crappie? I know I've heard a lot of old guys say, well, I really only like crappie in the wintertime, the cold water fish. Myself, I like them, 12 months out of the year.
Good. It don't matter which one. They're
Yeah.
both good.
It don't matter.
They're all good, but I'll tell you this. There's a huge difference in flavor from like a Sharpest Lake, Mississippi crappie and one that comes out of Harris Chain, Florida. A huge difference. And it's all got to do with their diet and what they eat. Without a doubt, they are much better if they feed primarily on bait fish throughout the whole year. If you get a black crappie, a lot of his diet's invertebrates and stuff in the water other than bait fish, he will not taste near as good as one that does eat bait fish. So without a doubt, we've caught some in Florida that we kind of had to go get something else to eat on.
Really?
Yeah. Really, they taste pretty
Huh.
strong. They resemble more of a bluegill basically flavor,
Right.
Than the ones.
That's very interesting.
You guys are spoiled down in Mississippi.
Probably so.
I can tell the difference up there with them Lake of Egypt fish, that they taste different. I made it because that power plant.
We talked about, you just said it right then, Florida. I heard someone tell me one time that your idea with the spawn, those fish were actually waiting for the water temperature to cool down before they spawn. I don't know if that's, accurate or what.
We always would time it about Valentine's weekend. It's about Valentine's Day. They were typically right there at Harris Chain, rocking and rolling, and those lakes. In comparison to our northern lakes, crappie have so much more relaxation in basically a variance in time for a spawn that they have to do their thing. They have a huge window right there as compared to somebody in Indiana, or we don't warm up so fast, and really things go a lot faster the further north you go. And so I have really not heard the fact that they had to wait till the water cooled off for a spawn, honestly. I don't know at what temperature they basically would not be fertile and hatched. Honestly, I don't know that. I would say that the fish would kick in gear with the increase in water temperature and get it done. But who knows what some people runs through people's minds, and you just never know.
I always heard Florida always spawn 2 times a year, but
No.
I don't know. I don't fish it.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I've been there a couple of times, and I tell you what, those big blacks are like catching a 10-pound bass. They are monsters.
Y'all like to chase black crappie rather than white
Oh,
crappie?
they fun to catch. They are. They're fun to catch.
I don't have a preference, man. I do like the blacks, but honestly, the whites excite me too just as much. They all the whole ball of wax, man. Every lake that we go to is different. Every bite we get's different a lot of times, and the times of year there's a lot of differences. So it's just a beautiful sport, man. I'm just happy to be doing this with the Crappie Connection, and man, I hope you guys put it out there for people
we're
that
trying.
have never really been interested in it. Grab some folks, get them on this tournament trail. We want to shake their hand. We want to teach them a few things that we know. Let's take this thing out.
Absolutely.
Out of space.
Absolutely. You got something here to show us today.
That's what I was thinking, Brad. You got something to showcase?
Yeah, this is basically it's called a minnow rider. It's one of our custom jig heads that we've been using for years. Had a local friend of mine that's been making us 1,000 at a time for many years, and basically we're just sharing our little piece of info with the world basically now. And what it is a jig head, no barb, and it carries. It's made for carrying just a minnow, live minnow. Earlier I was talking in a seminar about fall fishing and using a tube and then tipping it with a minnow. Sometimes it's just a little bit too much for a fish to want to bite that time of year. Not only that, you don't get near the action from a minnow that you would when you put him on this jig hook without a skirt. And the minnow can really do a whole lot more he can do a lot more moving just with that jig hook. The jig hook is basically the most efficient tool that you can get to fish with in heavy structure. Dropping a split shot and a straight hook down there with a minnow on it is not going to happen. It's not very efficient at all. With this, you can punch it loose in a splash and be back fishing again. So you know all about that.
Care if I say one real quick?
Sure.
Would you run this on a Captain Coleman rig?
No.
Straight line.
Just straight line
Straight
Straight line.
Yeah.
Just with one single jig.
When we're jig fishing, we use one single only, almost exclusively. I'm going to put that bait right where the fish is at. And that's the only thing I need. There's no need to have two. That jig coupled with a minnow, it caught us fish at Lake of the Ozarks that had been fished numerous times by people. I've watched them fish the same piece of structure over and over and over, but I knew there was big fish there because we caught them early on in the week. But later in the week right there, fish were still there, and people had fished it and almost like wore the limbs off the structure that there was there, but the fish would not leave. It was a matter of us trying to trick those. And honestly, 2 fish was lost by us in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes on that thing that cost us the championship down there. And that's no lie. There were some monsters that we needed desperately. But anyway, they're there, but it took a very special tool to get them to even bite. And that's why we lost them. They didn't want to bite to start with. It was a very subtle hookup, but we hooked them up. And I tried to lift one and lost him. And while that was happening, we lost another one right behind him. And I'm like, good night, that was so unlucky. But that was what got us the bite.
This is a detail on the detail. Is that what you're telling me?
That is a very special hook. It's a Gamakatsu. It's the best that I know of. It's the sharpest that I know of, and it's one that we favor. There's some particulars about that hook. It does not have a big barb on it. We do have a little trouble keeping a minnow on sometimes, but if you put him on right, we can teach that too. He'll be there forever. But that small barb actually penetrates much quicker. It's almost like a needle going through the roof of a crappie's mouth. It will penetrate much easier than, say, an eagle claw hook, or some of the ones we've compared it to. And that is our pick for favorite sharpest hook in the world for us. Yep.
I see a 16th, 32nd, and 8th.
If you notice the paint on that jig head, it's very unusual. You know, it's a pearl paint.
These don't glow, do they?
If you ever seen a pearl, the shine that's on a real pearl, no matter what color you see here, it's they're all have that pearl paint on.
How many colors?
It's 4 colors.
4 colors. Which colors? I see the orange and the pink.
Well, we was at your lake in Mississippi. The orange would be pretty critical.
All right.
But honestly, that hot candy pink is our favorite in a lot of places. We'll stick with it.
Speaking of, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but not to say the white.
So
all of them. We like them all.
So you got white, pink, orange, and what's the other
Chartreuse.
one? Chartreuse, of course.
So speaking of colors here, what's y'all's go-to jig color y'all like to use the color one?
Don't care.
Paint. Chartreuse.
Yeah,
Minnow.
that's it.
We call it
Minnow color.
That's a color of money.
Yeah. All right.
Anything with chartreuse is pretty well favorite of ours. That's what we tell everybody. So yeah, go with the lake attitude and put some chartreuse with it, and you'll be a winner.
I like it. Well, definitely, we appreciate you guys' time. Look forward to seeing you out on the American Crappie Trail and everywhere else you guys travel. And we can't thank you enough. And definitely want to do it again with you guys and pick your brain some more. And man, just thanks.
All right, we thank you, man.
Enjoyed it,
Brad.
Thanks.
All right, and special thanks for 2019 Grizzly Jig letting us come back here do the podcast.
And Crappie Crazy.
Yeah.
just a lot of people coming on board with us, and we appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you like and share our page with all your friends. Also subscribe to YouTube channel. We'll have a lot more different people coming on this weekend. It's going to be a great thing. 2019 is going to be exciting for the Crappie Connection.
Awesome. We're proud for y'all, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. We'll see y'all later.
Great.
Holla.
From Big Muddy River, place I'll always remember. Cabin on the lake and a fishing pole. Forever here I'll rest my soul. I can feel my worries drift away. Being out in the sun all day, no matter